Hello, once again, Cinephile here, and today I want to treat you people to something that everyone has already done on YouTube. Here are my top 10 favorite directors. I want to go ahead and start off with honorable mention. You got the Farrelly brothers, you got the Coen brothers, you got the Russo brothers, you got James Cameron and Wes Craven for sure. And don't let the shirt fool you. I like Steven Spielberg, but I cannot put him on this list. I think he's had a falling off of sorts. I mean, I love Jurassic Park and I love Jaws. Close Encounters was okay. E.T. was okay. What are the other ones? Schindler's List was okay to me. I'm not a big fan of war movies. That's why I didn't care for Saving Private Ryan. The guy tries to go out of his way to win the best picture. And I think his vision has suffered because of that. So that's why he's not on this list. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Joe Dante because he gave me Gremlins and The Howling, but I'm not going to put him on this list just because I like a couple of his movies. Number 10, Kevin Smith. You got Clerks, Clerks 2, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Red State, Cop Out, Tusk. Okay, he's got a lot of weird ones, under his belt. But the sheer ability that he could create such good films, again, heavy in dialogue, like some other very good directors, but a very low budget style. I like directors that can do a whole lot with very little money and resources. Number 9, I will say, is Christopher Nolan, and it's not for just the Dark Knight trilogy. The way he shoots his movies, Dunkirk is about to come out, and it looks amazing visually. Same as Inception, same as Interstellar, it looks amazing. I've seen The Prestige, okay? He has great movies under his belt because he does something the studios do. He created Batman Begins, he got to do The Prestige. He created The Dark Knight. He got to do Inception. He created The Dark Knight Rises. He got to do Interstellar. So the man knows how to play Hollywood. And he has great movies, and I applaud Christopher Nolan for his visionary style. Number 8 is a personal favorite of mine, Harold Ramis. Groundhog Day. He helped write Ghostbusters with Dan Aykroyd. He did The First Vacation. He did Caddyshack. The Analyze This and Analyze That films. He's got a lot of good ones, and it just comes to comedy. The man has a style of comedy that I just can't help but laugh at. And, God rest his soul, I cried when I found out he passed away. So he does have a special place in my heart as one of my favorite directors of all time. Number 7, you may think is going to be a little odd because he probably should be higher up on the list. But number 7 is going to be Quentin Tarantino. Now you got Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown. You got both Kill Bill movies. You got The Inglourious Basterds. You got Django Unchained. You got The Hateful Eight. He knows dialogue. I love Quentin Tarantino films for just the dialogue. And then he goes and does stuff like Kill Bill and just revolutionizes the martial arts genre. When it comes to good dialogue, I hope and pray to the movie gods that I'll have a good script like Quentin Tarantino. Number 6, speaking of directors with little money and resources, John Carpenter. Halloween, Assault on Precinct 13, Escape from New York, They Live, The Thing, The Fog, Vampires. Okay, I think that's all I can remember at the moment. The man knows how to make movies. He's very good at what he does. And I have a very large collection of John Carpenter films. And Christine. Christine's another one. Just comes out of nowhere. The man is the godfather of slasher films. He created Halloween. It's one of the most important movies in the slasher genre. Number 5, one of my all-time favorites forever, John Landis. Okay, you ready for this? Here we go. You have Animal House, Blues Brothers, American Werewolf in London. You've got Trading Places, Coming to America, a movie called Oscar. You got Blues Brothers 2000, and of course you got the Thriller video. Oh, Three Amigos and Spies Like Us. I love his movies. I have every single one of them. They're great. He is a wonderful director. He's got a wonderful style. There is not much to say on his part. When you watch a John Landis film, you know it's a John Landis film. Whether it's something like The Blues Brothers, where he puts basically more music in his film than most musicals. You got something like Animal House. You gotta remember, something like Animal House was something that has never been done up to that point. It's a raunchy college movie. That was a first of its kind, like Caddyshack. It's one of those firsts. American Werewolf in London. I could make a video on just American Werewolf in London, which I will later. Not right now, but later. I could go on and on all day. Number 4 is another personal favorite, Mel Brooks. When it comes to comedy, this guy knows where to hit me. Though some of his earlier work was okay, I didn't think it was extremely funny, like The Producers and 12 Chairs. Silent movie, I liked it, but But then you got stuff like Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, Spaceballs, History of the World, Robin Hood, Men in Tights, Dracula, Dead and Loving It. He is so funny. There will be no one out there that's going to be like Mel Brooks. So I can't thank him enough for making these movies for me. And thank you so much, Mel. You have made my childhood. Speaking of directors that made my childhood, number 3 is Mr. John Hughes. Now this one is kind of big, okay? I'm going to do what I can to try to remember as much as I can. She's Having a Baby, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, The Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Curly Sue. He wrote the movie Dutch, but he didn't direct it. I think that's all I can think of right now. But regardless, he knew how to write. Oh, Home Alone. He did Home Alone as well. But anyway, he knew how to write not just teen comedies, but high school teens going through high school. He was awesome at that. Just awesome. I love every one of his movies. Ferris Bueller. That's another one. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Back to doing a whole lot with very little money. Robert Rodriguez changed the way I look at movies. He could take something like El Mariachi for, like, say, $10,000, ask a couple friends to help him out, and he could make a great movie. Robert Rodriguez was awesome. Then he made Desperado, Once Upon a Time in Mexico. He made all the Spy Kids movies. He directed Sin City, for crying out loud. He gave us Sin City 2, finally, but Sin City 1 was holy crap. He's a revolutionary in a way, because it was kind of a guerrilla style of filmmaking. He shot basically on a camera like this. And he did what he could to save as much money as possible. He's one of the first guys to actually shoot a live film on digital to save money. Like Sin City, that was all done on a digital camera. It wasn't a reel-to-reel like they do still. It wasn't a classic reel-to-reel camera. He knew what he had to do to save money, so that's what he did. So I got to give my props to Robert Rodriguez. And number 1, my favorite director of all time, if you know me, Stanley Kubrick. I have seen every one of his films. His early ones like Fear and Desire, The Killing, Killer's Kiss. I've seen all of his old stuff. I watched Spartacus. Don't watch Spartacus. You got 2001, A Space Odyssey, The Shining, Lolita, Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, um, Full Metal Jacket, Eyes Wide Shut, Barry Lyndon. I watched AI because he wrote it, but Spielberg shot it. I think he tried his best to shoot like how Kubrick would shoot it. It felt different to me. It did not feel like a Kubrick film. When it comes to style, vision, and cinematography, this man is like the upper echelon of it. Every other director that I just mentioned would have Stanley Kubrick on their list of favorite directors. Seriously. John Carpenter, Kevin Smith, Quentin Tarantino, even Steven Spielberg would have Stanley Kubrick on his list of favorite directors. I love Stanley Kubrick. If you haven't seen any of his movies, where the hell have you been the last 30 years? Well, guys, that was my list of favorite directors. Do you know any of these directors? Do you love any of these directors? Are there directors that you love that I may have missed? Do we have anything in common? Subscribe to me. Subscribe to us. And comment below. Give me something to read. Even Steven Spielberg. Even Steven Spielberg would have